Hello everyone, Dr. Fink here. Today we'll talk about why there are some values in your blood work that are off in bodybuilders. So this is not medical advice, this is entertainment only. So a lot of times when bodybuilders get their blood work done, the blood test comes back and several values are completely off. And the most notorious ones are AST, ALT, which are basically markers for liver function, and those are enzymes produced by the liver, and those should be AST below 35 units per liter, and for ALT below 59 units per liter. However, in bodybuilders, we often see values 70 or 80, etc. So where do these enzymes come from? Mainly from the liver, but we also secrete those enzymes in the muscle. That means that if we work out a lot, we will also secrete a lot of AST and to some extent ALT. This means that heavy workout will bias those AST and ALT values because we're producing so much of these enzymes in the muscle but not in the liver. So it could be that our liver is perfectly functioning fine, but we have elevated AST and ALT levels because of our workouts. So if a physician looks at those results without knowing your routine or without knowing you, he might think that you have a liver problem. Okay, but as long as you know that, let's say you had a heavy workout the day before and you took the blood test the next day and you have high AST and ALT, then usually it means it's just acutely biased because these enzymes are also leaking into the blood from the muscles. All right. Then we have creatinine. Creatinine is also a byproduct of muscle. Okay, so creatinine, the more we work out, the more our creatinine levels will be high. This doesn't mean that we have elevated uh, pathological bad creatinine levels. It just means that we're working out a lot. Okay, so these levels should be below 1.25 milligrams per deciliter, but usually in bodybuilders who work out a lot, we might see numbers 1.5 or 1.8 depending on the intensity of the workout. Okay, so again, these are numbers you shouldn't worry if you had a heavy workout the night before and you take the blood test the next day. It is biased by the workout, most likely. EGFR, estimated glomerular filtration rate. This is basically telling you how well your kidneys are filtering the blood. So the more they filter, the better the liver function is, the kidney function is, and the higher the better. So it should be above 60 milliliters per minute. So your liver should filter more than 60 milliliter every minute. However, EGFR is estimated, okay? It's estimated glomerular filtration rate. The glomerulus is basically the first place where the blood comes into the kidney and is filtrated. And since we call it estimated, we need to estimate on a different number. And the other number we estimate on is creatinine. So if your creatinine is high because of the high muscle breakdown from training, then your EGFR will be low. So the physician who doesn't know you might see that your EGFR is below 60 milliliters per minute and think you have a kidney disease. However, this number is most likely biased because of your high creatinine levels from your heavy workout the days before. All right, so if those numbers are off, in general, if you work out a lot, it is just an acute offset of those numbers. If you're worried, I would suggest take some days off working out, 4 or 5 days without workout, redo a blood test and see if those numbers come back normal. If they come back normal, it just means that the first blood test was indeed biased by the heavy workout that increased AST, ALT, creatinine, and decreased EGFR. All right, so one more time, liver values most likely elevated in bodybuilders. Creatinine also most likely elevated. EGFR most likely on the lower side. Why? Because we work out so much and we secrete liver enzymes, we break down muscle, we secrete a lot of creatinine, and based on that, EGFR comes back low. All right. So most of the cases in bodybuilders, those values are due to the heavy training and are not pathological uh, values that mean that there's something wrong with those organs. But however, it's always better to recheck after a couple of days without training to make sure that you're in good health. All right, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any comments, please do that below. And I see you in the next video.